The movie opens, and it's 1985, as a submarine with just one man goes into the ocean towards an oil rig called Sector 7, off the coast of Jeju Island. The man identifies the problem to be just on the drill bit, so the man gets out of the vehicle to investigate closer. While walking at the bottom of the sea, he notices a gigantic sea creature swimming right in front of him. Suddenly, the ground starts shaking, but soon stops, and the man sees unique little glowing creatures swimming around him. He tries to touch one of them. However, the floor breaks open again, and the ground shakes. When he had nothing to stand on, the man grabs the oil pipe. He notices the pressure is dropping dramatically, pushing him upwards. But just as he was calling the control room for help, those little cute creatures attack him. After the tragedy, the scene moves to the present time, 2011. Oil rig Sector 7 is still going. That's when we find the crew panicking and running around. The control room detects a problem and goes to look out the window. June, the charismatic lady, instructs the team to lock the valves as she slides down on a rope. She helps the men pushing the pipe inward, but quickly she runs towards the wheel to relieve the pressure. The pipe drops and they reconnect it. Success. In one of the labs, the crew talk about the problem of Sector 7. June comes to the scene, and her captain blames her for being impulsive and mentions something about her recklessness being in her genes. The two of them get into a heated argument. This gets June angry so much that she needed to be held back by Dong. Meanwhile, out on the deck, one of the members is punishing the new guy on the crew for almost dropping a pipe on his head. Another senior member comes along as the new guy was hanging on a pipe. When some liquid pops up, the new guy thought it was oil, but they scold him for not knowing it wasn't oil. But one of those cute creatures swam up out of it. Dong goes to the clinic to check on June's injury. June is getting stitches put on her wound. She's in pain, but Dong laughs at her. The medic asks if they ever got romantic, and it gets super awkward. But that's when the medic realizes he never gave June the anesthetic. The crew caught some of the little sea creatures found earlier and put them into an aquarium to have a better look. The marine scientist, Kim, explains that the creatures are from a chemosynthetic ecosystem. Jang puts his hand inside and touches the creature. As soon as he pulls one out, the creature takes its tongue and uses it to hit Jang. This just makes him scream in pain as the crew asks what happened. Back on the crane, June is instructing the new guy on how to operate the crane. Jang has a big swollen lip. When the door opens, Kim is on the other side, startled by finding Yang there. He tries to give her a gift to show her his affection, but she rudely rejects him, saying he's wasting both their times, and closes the door on him. Suddenly, the captain calls for an assembly. The captain waits until everyone is gathered in the control room and says they have been ordered to pack up and leave the oil rig because nothing they have done is effective. June reacts, saying that they should not give up that easily, but the captain is defeated. Disappointed, June walks out of the room and says she will not quit what they started. Dong follows her out. Outside, Dong asks June why she has to fight with the captain on everything, and she tries to brush it off. But when he tells her that her uncle Jong Man is coming to oversee their withdrawal, she gets excited. In the next scene, a chopper comes into Sector 7 to drop June's uncle. Enthusiastically, June rushes to her uncle to greet and hug him. Jong goes inside and meets the captain and Kim. The crew goes outside to celebrate. Meanwhile, they take turns bragging about the scars that they got while working. However, the captain says that scars are only signs of carelessness in their work. As usual, June disagrees and shows the scar on her back when she was exposed to hot seawater. After a while, June looks at her family's old photograph. The uncle approaches her to console her. June says that her father is probably waiting for them in Sector 7, and she wonders how she will ever find her dad if they are forced to quit the sector. She promises Jeong that she will find oil no matter what it takes. Later on, Jung approaches the captain and says that he will talk to the board to allow them to get a few more months of working in Sector 7. He reasons that if they quit now, they will look like defeated soldiers when they return to the city. The next day, the uncle gives a needed motivational speech to the crew to boost their morale in finding oil. 3 months later, June and one of the crew take their gear and dive into the sea to check underneath Sector 7. After a while, June notices damage to the metal, and she immediately starts fixing it. However, something bad happens. The rope carrying June's crewmate malfunctions, and the poor crewmate slowly falls into the deep sea. Dong and the other crewmen try their best to pull the rope, but the pressure is too strong, which causes the rope to break. June screams in agony as she witnesses her crewmate falling into the deep, dangerous sea. After the incident, June wakes up safe in the medic room. However, she starts crying as she remembers what happened to her crewmate. To console her, Jung hugs her saying that everything will be alright. Then, Kim goes to Jun's room, but is quickly interrupted by the other crew members. She says that she will talk to Jun another time. Still saddened about the accident, Jun stares at the old photograph of her with the dead crewmate. Jun is shocked when she sees Kim's bloody head slams the mirror, making it break. The medic declares that the marine scientist is dead, and the cause are contusions and lacerations from a hard fall. The captain orders the medic to issue a certificate and put suicide as the cause of death. The crew notices that Zhang is missing from the room. Quickly, two of the workers rush outside to look for Zhang and catch him at a balcony. In the next scene, the medic sees under a microscope that the so-called semen he found didn't look like it came from a human. That's when the two guys drag Zhang into the lab and get violent with him. Finally, the medic tells the crew that they will conduct a DNA test. Meanwhile, Jun thinks something isn't right here, so she goes to inspect the laboratory using her flashlight. That's when she notices a semen-like substance lingering in one of the pipes. Meanwhile, the medic is examining Zhang's DNA when he suddenly hears something. He quickly checks where it's coming from. Not long after, he's attacked by an unknown creature with lightning speed. Jun doesn't stop looking and goes to the basement. As she opens one of the doors, she is greeted by the captain. The captain says that the medic is also found dead in his office. The crew still theorizes that Zhang is the one doing this, because he's the only one with the reason for killing the doctor. However, Zhang urges them to remain calm and to just check, because it might not be him. Meanwhile, the unknown creature starts coming for Zhang, who's tied up. Although the crew rushes to him, they find that Zhang is already missing. Jun then notices the traces of the same semen-like substance, so they decide to follow the trail. The crew find Zhang on the floor, passed out. Jun approaches him, but the goofy man aggressively holds her hand and tries to run away. Jun then quickly interrogates him. Then he runs away, screaming. As Jun and Dong run in the hallway, they see the sea monster on the ceiling. Now they know what was causing all the deaths. In the next scene, Zhang is met by the monster creeping towards him. Meanwhile, Jun and Dong go further down and witness their crewmates already killed by the monster in its weird nest. Back in the control room, the rest of the crew can't find any way of communication. Jun rushes to the office to tell everyone what she saw. She says that they need to escape as soon as possible. Zhang takes a shotgun and wants to confront the monster before it kills any more people. Jun says that she will come with him. Holding their guns, they carefully navigate the building to find the sea monster. As the two crewmen try to catch up with the team, they find the gigantic sea monster right behind them. Zhang tells one of them to clap, and that attracts the monster. It quickly finds them and picks one up with its tongue. The monster uses its grip to slam the poor man left and right, making him severely injured. The monster also grabs the other crewman. That's when Zhang shoots the monster. Similarly, Jun goes near the monster and shoots it to free her crewmates. Fortunately, as they continue shooting the monster falls to the ground and is heavily wounded. However, the monster quickly regenerates and starts moving again. The uncle then takes his lighter and tosses it to the monster, causing the monster to ignite. Still moving, the crew realizes they must run for their lives. Although they get to the elevator on time, the monster still finds them inside. While the monster pushes its tongue to the elevator, Jun uses her axe to cut it and activate the elevator. The captain then starts feeling suspicious of Zhang, and he asks him what was really the reason why he came back to Sector 7. The captain thinks Zhang knows something he's not telling them. How did he know the monster's body could catch fire like that? Not saying anything, Zhang breaks the aquarium. He then takes one of the creatures and burns it to demonstrate. Finally, he explains that fire could ignite the creatures for 24 hours. He also confesses that 2 decades ago, they made an amazing discovery with Jun's father, that the body fluid of these creatures could be an alternative to oil as a fuel source. After all this time, Zhang was breeding the creatures for them to use as a new fuel source, but one of them escaped and still haunts them. It is also revealed that Kim discovered this about the creatures and confronted Zhang. The heated argument between them was the real reason why Kim accidentally fell down and died. Angry, Jun feels betrayed by her own uncle. Suddenly, the monster makes its way to the crew. While the crew runs for their lives, the uncle is already grabbed by the monster. As the monster slams him, he takes a medicine bottle and throws it at the monster. Fortunately, the monster lets go of his leg. Meanwhile, as the crew is preparing to fight the monster, Jun volunteers herself to restore the power. When she leaves, Dong follows her. Unfortunately, as they go to the basement, they see that the controls are covered with the same slimy-like substance. Luckily, she finds the generator and successfully restores the building's power. Suddenly, the monster finds its way to the captain and the other crew members. The captain abandons them, closing the door, so the monster grabs one crewman and mauls him to death. However, the monster is not done yet when it uses its spear-like tongue to jab the other man's skull, killing him also. To save himself, the selfish captain takes the submarine to escape, leaving Dong and Jun behind. However, it quickly backfires when he is attacked by the monster underwater. Only 3 survivors are left. In a move of desperation, Jeong hits the self-destruct button of the rig. June tries to stop it, but only the captain knows how to. Meanwhile, the uncle is on the landing pad and shoots a signal flare into the air to look for help, while he lures the monster into him. When the monster goes near him, Jeong uses his flamethrower to burn the creature, but it is not really effective. Eventually, as the monster holds him, Jeong takes his lighter to ignite the monster, but because of the body fluid, he also burns and sacrifices himself in the process. Moreover, the burning monster grabs Dong and pulls him towards the sea. Luckily, Dong manages to cling to the rope. June uses her motorcycle to pull her friend back to the surface. However, the monster crawls back to the building and hits Dong. Dong tries to distract the monster and yells out to June to run, but she refuses. That's when the monster throws Dong in the air and mauls him while airborne. June is shocked when she realizes that she is the only survivor left. Trying to escape the monster, she uses her motorcycle to outrun. Luckily, she finds her way to a narrow pathway. While the monster is stuck, June slides her motorcycle towards the monster to create a massive explosion. However, the monster seems to be invulnerable as it starts crawling again. Hiding in the building, June plans to use the drill to drop it towards the monster. To distract the monster, June opens the gate and lures the monster inside to lock it up. However, it is not effective as the monster jumps from above and breaks everything. June fights as she takes a wrench to hit its monstrous face. June uses the rope to pull herself up. Then, avoiding the monster's attack, she swings on the rope to gather force and clings to the nearest pipe. June plans to lure the monster toward the drilling area to smash it. With perfect timing, she launches the drill, but the monster still manages to hold her leg. Slowly, she climbs towards the remote, but the monster keeps on pulling her. Luckily, her arm manages to hit the button, and she successfully triggers the drill. The monster screams in pain as the machine slashes the monster's flesh. June has done it. The monster is finally dead. But there's one more thing. Sector 7 starts self-destructing, and June takes her motorcycle again to escape the explosions. June drives towards the open sea, and a chopper rescues her on the platform. The scene slowly fades away as June stares at the destroyed Sector 7. In the end, June comes back to the rig and cries as she reads the writings of her fallen comrades underneath the oil rig.